Hello, welcome to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection. I'm your host, Francy Hall, and speaking of community, today on our show, we have two community members involved with many things, but today they're going to be talking to us about CulturFest, so we'll look forward to that. And then we took a field trip to the Owatonna Arts Center for a new exhibit that's going on there called the Muslim Experience exhibit. It's called Footprints in the Snow, and we visited with Naaima Khan from the Islamic Resource Center about that exhibit, so we want you to stay tuned for that. We want you to know that if you have ideas for future shows, please do contact us. Just email us, owatonnatoday@charter.net. It is Friday, so we do want to first acknowledge our sponsors. We thank them very much. Our premier sponsors are the City of Owatonna, Express Employment Professionals, Owatonna Public Utilities, and United Way of Steele County. Our primary sponsors are Amy Swain Hearing Centers, Brookdale Senior Living Solutions, Little Theater of Owatonna, and the Owatonna Foundation. Our interlude sponsors are Abraham Consulting Technologies, Bremer Bank, Brenda Bednar Mortgage Office, Glenn Mager and Michael Mager of the Brick Mager Funeral Home and Medford Funeral Home, Carlson Brandstad and Company CPAs, ERA Gillespie Real Estate, Fairview Animal Medical Center, Horizon Eye Care, Clancher & Sons Landscaping and Concrete, Owatonna Business Incubator, Steele County Historical Society, Steele County Transitional Housing, the Third Hand Video Productions, and TPS Insurance. We hope you will support these fine Owatonna businesses that support the Owatonna Today Show. Please say thanks to them when you see them out and about. This show is able to continue because of them. Stay with us. After a word from our sponsors, we will be right back talking about CulturFest with Sue Schroeder and Mike Jensen.
I'm Dan Brandstad of Carlson Brandstad and Company, Certified Public Accountants. We support the Owatonna Today Show.
Owatonna Public Utilities, real people, real reliable, real progress. Making life a little easier day after day, taking pride in our community, listening to what you say, a voice you can talk to. We're growing with you. Owatonna Public Utilities.
Greetings from the Steele County Historical Society. We invite you to visit us and enjoy your county's history at the History Center and Village of Yesteryear. Check our website for current exhibits and monthly programs.
We are back with Sue Schroeder and Mike Jensen, and they are going to be filling us in on all the new stuff for this year's CulturFest.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, depending on when you're watching this, right?
That's right.
But, so hello to both of you. Sue, how long have you been involved with this?
Well, I've been involved since the beginning, so it's been 17 great years of putting this festival together with a wonderful team of people. We work together and marvelous every year. Fresh every year. Fresh every year. So there's new, that you told me, there's new stuff. So we're going to be talking about that.
Every year, lots of new things.
Mike, how long have you been involved?
I attended the first one and made some suggestions or comments for number 2, and lo and behold, what happens then? You're on the committee.
Yeah,
so.
Don't make suggestions unless you're willing to implement them.
Oh, your heart's been in it all along.
It has, it has. Oh. It's been a labor of love, I think, for all of us. There's a real solid core group of people that view this as an important part of our community. We've woven into the community and helped bringing together all of our cultures, heritage, backgrounds. Each of us come with such special, unique experiences, and we want to provide an opportunity or a way for people to celebrate those differences and get to know each other.
Yes. Is that your inspiration for being involved? What exactly did inspire you to?
I think for me that's a large part of it. Also at the very first one, my son was 1 or 2, if I do the math right, and I knew that he's going to be around. He's going to be in this community, and I had other children that were coming, and you want a place where they can feel comfortable, they can get to know their neighbors in a safe environment, and I think CulturFest has provided that over the years.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Sue? What inspired you to help start this and be involved with it all this time?
I'm a real lover of music and dance, And I think that the atmosphere of a festival in general brings a sense of well-being and just goodness to it. And when we were working together as a team for the Cultural Diversity Network, we talked about what can we create that we don't have currently, and in outstate Minnesota many times we don't have opportunities like this to see a bit of cultures from around the world, familiar and unfamiliar, together, so that we learn, we get to know why we do some of the things we do, where we learned about or became acquainted with different foods, different art forms, different music, and how we've kind of integrated those things in the U.S. So that's where my inspiration came from.
I love that. It gives you a sense of well-being and inclusion, and that's really neat. I like it.
And it's upbeat and fun all day.
And it's upbeat and fun. You get to see, you know, great art, basically, right here locally. Yeah. So, when is this? Before we get into it, we need to let people know at the beginning, at the end, when is this event?
Well, it's next week on Saturday, September 26th. And we're back at Wilson School. We chose Wilson School as the venue because in the event of poor weather, and we never want that, but if we have poor weather, we can always come indoors. There's enough room in that facility for us to come indoors. So we're at Wilson Elementary, Saturday, September 26th.
Okay, and we have a backup plan to go inside if which won't happen.
No.
It's going to be a beautiful day.
It's a rain or shine event. It happens either way.
Happens either way. 10:30 until 4:30?
Right.
And what goes on in that span of time? That's a long time. I mean, it's a great time. What goes on?
Well, there's a whole variety of things that happen. We have a variety of main stage performers, and Sue will talk about some of them briefly for us. We also have demonstrators, lots of hands-on activities. We also have a passport program. Most all students in Steele County and a lot of the surrounding communities should have received a physical passport through the school, and they can bring that to the festival, and they can do hands-on activities learning about various countries, and as they do that, their passport will be stamped.
Fun.
We print and distribute 10,000 of them thanks to 11 colleges and universities in the region that really step up and make a difference for us.
How wonderful. That is 10,000 of those you printed?
They go all over, throughout the county, all of the communities. So we encourage, families to come out. It's a great free activity for your children. There's also, a few things available for purchase, and there's a food court with a variety of foods, available to eat. So we all like food, that's for sure.
Okay, I have a question that's very specific because it's very important to me. Do they have sambusa?
It's in the plans. That's part of the plan.
Usually we do, yeah.
Those are so good. For those of you who haven't had them, it's this fabulous meat pastry that is just tremendously yummy.
And I know we're pressed a little bit for time today, so maybe if you want to highlight just a couple of some of the folks that are coming from the artisans.
Yes.
We're partnering with Selco Libraries, Owatonna Public Library, to bring Carla Nuigi and her dance group. They do African dance, African modern dance. Carla is a choreographer, professional dancer, so it's such a treat to have someone of her caliber here in Owatonna. So she will work with students through our community who've signed up for a class, a free class, by the way, in the morning on Saturday, and then her professional troupe, she and her group will perform and will incorporate those learners from the morning session into their performance. So we're looking really forward to that.
Fun!
Yeah.
And all ages can do this?
All ages can do it, yep.
Okay.
Yep. Helpful if they have a little experience with dance, but we are welcoming everyone that's 13 and up to participate in that. Yep. And then we partnered with Medford Public Schools. They're going to host a residency this year with Leo and Kathy Lara. And then the Medford students will come to the festival as well and perform alongside Leo and Kathy. They do Latin music, and the kids are going to have a great experience up in Medford this week.
What is the residency program? What is that?
An artist actually embeds the experience into the week before the festival, so they see the artist each day and have a chance to learn as they go, and then we act as the capstone for that.
Okay.
It might be nice to show a video of the festival and some of the highlights and things like that. I wonder if we could look at doing something like that.
That is a great idea, and I think that we do have that, and we will be actually showing a video when we wrap up that is going to feature all kinds of fun things that you've had at past events, and then of course, real quick though, let's one more time, when is the event?
It is September 26th from 10:30 till 4:30 at Wilson School Grounds, right here in Owatonna, Minnesota. Definitely a regional fun-filled day, outdoor festival. Bring friends, family, relatives, and it's free. And it's free. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
We are going to show you this video, so stay with us for the video of CulturFest.
CulturFest is a celebration of heritage from around the world. The day is full of fun, beginning with a parade and opening ceremony. You can travel the world in a day at CulturFest and track your adventure with your CulturFest passport. CulturFest passports are given to young students throughout our area in grades preschool through 8th grade. Bring your passport with you to CulturFest as you move from one country booth to the next. You will learn about over 20 countries by doing fun activities and watching artists at work. You can use the passport back in your elementary school as part of the World Passport program. Each time you study a map and pass a test, you can get your passport stamped. This way you can keep track of your progress and all you've learned about geography. The passports are a gift from you from many colleges and universities in Minnesota and Iowa. If you miss getting one at your school, you will be able to get one at the festival.
In an interactive cultural experience. The students are immersed in the Latin culture and become full participants rather than mere spectators.
Hi, I'm Mike Bath, General Manager of the Napa Distribution Center and 2015 Corporate Campaign Leader for United Way of Steele County. Every dollar donated during this year's United Way campaign is an investment in the future of our county. Our goal this year is to raise $670,000 to create a stronger, healthier community where everyone has the opportunity to meet their basic life needs and reach their full potential. It takes all of us pulling together to meet our common goals, and thank you for doing your part to support United Way of Steele County by giving from the heart to this year's campaign.
Carbon monoxide is a colorless, odorless gas produced by gas-fired appliances in your home. The state of Minnesota requires that you have a carbon monoxide alarm within 10 feet of sleeping areas in your home. We suggest you have a digital readout carbon monoxide alarm. That way we were able to check and see what the concentration amount was when the alarm went off. This has been a public safety tip from the Owatonna Fire Department.
Hello, I'm Glenn Mager.
And I'm Michael Mager with the Brickmager Funeral Home and the Medford Funeral Home. At Brickmager, we are privileged to have served the families of Steele County community for 118 years.
Whether you choose traditional burial or cremation, we promise the tribute your loved one deserves with the peace of mind that you require.
We are proud to be part of the Owatonna Today Show.
Hi, this is Barry Gillespie, president of ERA Gillespie Real Estate, where our pledge is to save you money, save you time, and simplify your life. And we're proud supporters of the Owatonna Today Show.
Hello, I'm David Einhaus with the Owatonna Foundation. Thank you to all of our donors who have helped make Owatonna a better place to live. Will you join us today with a financial gift? Owatonna Foundation is a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
Thanks for joining us here at the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection. Leanne and I are at the Owatonna Arts Center, and we are here with Naaima Khan, and we are going to be talking about Tracks in the Snow, a Minnesota Muslim experience. Muslims have been here apparently since 1880. Is that right? Okay, and Naaima, let's introduce you to the people as well. So what is your affiliation with this exhibit?
Sure. So I am a board member with the Islamic Resource Group, and the affiliation with the exhibit really is that I was among the people who really kind of created and curated the content of the interviews and the excerpts of the interviews that you see on the canvas portraits. And so I work as a kind of communications chair for the board of Islamic Resource Group right now, and have been with the organization for about 4 years.
How did you get involved with this?
Yeah, so I actually, it's a funny story because I came in through kind of the national affiliate of the Islamic Resource Group, which is a larger network called the Islamic Networks Group. And I should say they are a former affiliate because we decided to kind of branch off and be our own group very recently. But basically learned about the Speakers Bureau's type of model of Muslim people trying to really educate, get out into the community and educate people about the Muslim community at that national kind of level, at a national conference. And then when I moved here to Minnesota, I got in touch with a guy named Zafar Siddiqui, who was one of the original founders of the Islamic Resource Group.
Here in Minnesota?
Here in Minnesota, in the Twin Cities. And so he was the person who led the Twin Cities chapter of the organization. And so he you know, welcomed me aboard.
Great, and I would like to know, because part of this is about, you know, what brought people who are Muslim to Minnesota, and you are originally from Texas.
Yes.
What brought you to Minnesota?
My husband, actually. So when I was finishing up grad school, actually a little before I had met, you know, this wonderful guy, and you know, through a lot of the internal networks that I had, you know, established, and my mom, really, her friends kind of introduced me to my husband.
They were setting you up.
They were
Luckily, it worked.
And so little did I know that I was set up with a guy who works with Medtronic, and so, you know, happened to follow the job here.
Follow him here. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that we're talking about then with the Minnesota Muslim experience is, you know, who are Minnesota Muslims? Why, you know, what brings Muslims here? How did the earliest, especially, I think that's really important. We're talking about 1880.
Yeah.
So what can you tell us about what brought the earlier immigrants here?
Yeah, so I think it's important to understand that it's a wide variety of factors. Really, the reasons why people came here differ depending on a person's ethnicity, the country that they came from, kind of their socioeconomic status. Many different factors kind of were at play when people came. And I think for the earliest immigrants, it was really about coming to a land of new opportunity. Perhaps they felt like the countries or the political situations that they were in, you know, did not leave them a lot of room for growing their professional skills or their careers. And so what you see is in the early immigrant community here, primarily comprised of people from Turkey and people from Lebanon and Syria and Palestine. So these are all people who came here and were tradesmen. And so you have all these people coming here and really taking up this, crafts and agricultural work. And so I think it really is for early immigrants kind of, while the historical record, since it's really sparse, there's no real indication of a lot of the, substance behind the reasons why. We can presume, looking at the historical data, that they came here for opportunity.
For opportunity, for work and a good quality of life. And that's not different really than pretty much anybody, I guess, right?
Right.
When we talk about the Muslim experience, what are people going to be seeing? I mean, there are how many? 25 pictures, or how many stories are up on the walls there?
So there are 25, and they have been kind of segmented into 5 different themes that we have, which really emphasize some of the themes that came up when we were analyzing the interviews of the 40 community members that we had originally interviewed as a part of our oral traditions, oral histories project that was funded by the Minnesota Historical Society.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So I know that there are Muslims of every stripe.
Yes.
Right? Every background. Some come from different faiths and convert, but tell us a little bit about kind of the diversity within the Muslim experience.
Sure. So I guess the best place to start is really recognizing the roots of Islam in America, which dates back, really hundreds of years. I think people are often surprised at exactly how long ago our community started here. I mean, even if you just look at the Minnesota story, 1880, right? You don't often kind of hear that in the dominant narrative today. So in kind of broader American society, I think it's important to recognize the centrality of the African American Muslim community. They were really among the first and foremost Muslims to be here in the States, and really paved a lot of the path in a very critical way for immigrants and Muslims who are to come in the future to practice their faith more easily.
And isn't that, that's basically one of the main things that this country is founded on, is the ability to practice your faith, whatever that is, with liberty and freedom for all. And certainly here in Minnesota, that's what's been happening. So you're saying that there's a large number, of course, core group of people who've immigrated from Africa.
Yes. And so in addition to kind of the Eastern European immigrants that were kind of the first waves, among the first waves of people that came, there were then a lot more Eastern African. So I'm talking about, closer to present day, around 80s, 90s. There were more so many East African immigrants that also came that were Muslim. And, primarily in Minnesota, the Somali community
Somali
is
and
very
Sudanese
well known.
too.
Yeah. So those communities came here often as political asylees and refugees, coming from a very rife political situation. And
some people, I don't think, understand what it means to have people seek asylum. And so can you help people understand a little bit about why people come to seek asylum?
Sure. So I would hate to say that I could be a voice for that perspective, because I have not experienced that myself. I'm very fortunate to, not have to have gone through that.
We all are.
Yes. And so from what I understand, among the stories that I read of the people featured in this exhibit, is that it really is kind of this eye-opening and a blessing of an experience. I mean, often people who are coming from war-torn nations don't have the benefit of having stability in their lives and having a foundation to call home. And so they come here and they're very discombobulated. They, have many barriers to kind of living a stable life in the place that they came from. And so they hope that here, they'll be able to form foundations. And so we have amazing examples of resiliency among these people, like the person who read through a page of the English dictionary each night for continuously until he just learned the language.
Oh my gosh.
So that he can make it, here and really kind of understand people and talk to people well. So
yeah, I've heard many stories of people who, particularly the most recent folks who've been coming from Somalia and Sudan, and terrible violence, injuries, traumatic brain injuries, gunshot wounds, families torn apart. And it's so good that right now we're having this exhibit here because of what's going on in the Middle East and other parts of the country and the Near East. You know, where people are taking on, you know, refugees who really need to seek asylum. I mean, they're seeking refuge. That's what refugee is, right? Some of the other folks, people might be surprised by some of the other groups of Muslims here in the U.S. So, Native Minnesotans.
Yes.
You know, who convert.
Native Minnesotans, absolutely. Native Minnesotans are actually, there are a couple. So one being Audrey Williams, who, you know, is from here and then decided, you know, somewhere along the path, she identified as Christian initially, but then decided somewhere along the path that she wanted to explore kind of what religion was and different religions, and then ultimately came to realize through her research and her, you know, kind of studying that she agreed with the Islamic faith tradition and what it had to offer, and so she, you know, offers her story in the exhibit. That's one example.
Yeah, one example of several. We want folks to know that this exhibit runs through September 27th. It is here at the Owatonna Arts Center. The Owatonna Arts Center is open from, I think, did you say, Leanne, it was 1 to 5, Tuesday through Sunday. You need to enter through the City Hall entrance. And again, it's here until the 27th. There are great stories all around us here, and we would encourage you to come and take part in this great exhibit. Thank you, Naaima, for being here with us. Thank you for joining us. Stay with us after a word from our sponsors.
Amy Swain Hearing Centers is a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show. I'm Dr. Amy Swain, and I want everyone to hear better.
I'm Deb Gillard.
And I'm Sean McNulty with Brookdale Owatonna Senior Living Solutions.
We are assisted living and Alzheimer's and dementia care communities here in Owatonna, and formerly known as Clare Bridge and Sterling House.
And we are proud sponsors of the Owatonna Today Show.
It is time for our community announcements, and we want you to know that tomorrow, Saturday the 19th, the Humane Society is having a benefit walk. And also they're having a low-cost spay and neuter clinic. Call 451-4512 for more information. The next day, Sunday, September 20th, is the Walk to End Alzheimer's here in Owatonna. That is at Mineral Springs Park. Call 289-3950 for more information. Also, we want to welcome you back next week. Come and join us. We're going to have with us Mayor Tom Kuntz giving us a city update. We're also going to be pre-filming an interview with meteorologist Mark Seeley. You might recognize that name. And we will have filmed him at the climate change conference that's taking place. Also, we want you to have come and see Steele County Ducks Unlimited. They've got a banquet coming up, and we're going to talk about Steele County Ducks Unlimited. Also, LTO's 50th anniversary. We're going to preview some of that. And of course, we have Express Employment Professionals. Please join us next week for those great shows.